So do you get tired of feeling like you're in a mental prison as you go throughout your day? Maybe you overthink things. Maybe you hold back. You hesitate. I see it pop up so often with most people I know. It's like we will reject ourselves and we will sabotage ourselves before anyone else around us can even reject us. But think back. Think when you were a kid. Think how fun it was. Those moments of your childhood where you're just expressing yourself. You're just playing. You're going over to your friend's house to, get them to come out and play and enjoy life. It's like you were just in the flow. You were creating. But then what happened? What happened where now, as an adult, you overthink what you wear. You overthink how you're going to talk to someone. You overthink you see this pretty girl, or maybe you're married and, you want to have more fun with your spouse. But you overthink it and you're like, I don't want to seem lame. I don't want to seem weird. It's like, fuck that. But here's the thing. This mental prison is made out of something. You can't just make the decision to open up the lock and then just walk right out, because think about it. There are traps on traps on traps that we've created, that we've accepted and allowed within ourselves. It's a really deep point. You might even resist listening to this. But don't you want to have a life where you can just show up and express yourself? Like be in that flow state and have fun. Go talk to people. Go make people laugh. Isn't that what you want? Like, don't you want to be able to take some concept that you want to share and film a video and not think twice about it? But you have this mental fucking prison, right? And it sucks. I've done a lot of work on myself to get out of that mental prison. And there will be little moments. There will still be little moments where I will find myself like, whoop, I'm walking right back into that mental prison. Nope, turn around, U-turn. All right, get the fuck out of there. Because I have been able to dismantle that prison and see it really for what it is. This is over the past 10 years, really over the past 5.5 years, that I've come to really understand, what is this prison made out of? What does it look like to demolish it and then not keep recreating it? Now, in the past, I had heard about this concept probably 10 years ago. I'd study meditation. I would meditate, have fucking beads and shit, thinking, oh, this is going to help me stay in a good energy state. This is the answer. This is the answer to be in the flow state. And then an hour later, you forget about it. Because it doesn't necessarily come from something external, but it also doesn't just come from something internal, per se. You need the right process to do it. It's like if we're gonna bake a cake. Well, I don't bake a cake, but if my wife was gonna teach you how to bake a cake, because she's great at it, she would walk you through a process. There's certain things you got to do on the outside. There's certain things you got to do on the inside, and there's a certain vocabulary or program that you need to run to actually make a cake. And in the same way, if you want to liberate yourself and actually enjoy your life in the limited time you have here, if you want to actually let that come out and really unfold, there's a process you got to go through to do that. It does start with a decision to do it, but you got to learn from someone who's actually able to do it and do it in a replicatable way. So I'm going to share a little bit first about my journey doing this and what worked for me. But then also I want to really highlight this idea of the prison, because the prison isn't just something internally. The prison is something where the prison wardens are all around you. Have you ever noticed when you start to change? If you start to change. But maybe you start to realize there's a different set of values you want to live by. Or you're going to start speaking out more. Or maybe you're going to have a contrary take to what the mainstream says. And you're going to question hey, why are we just making money in a 9 to 5 And then like we're gonna retire. Or like, why is there war going on? Like, couldn't we create world peace? Like, you might have these thoughts. It might seem kind of out there. And you might even start sharing it with people. And then you'll have your old buddies go, oh, bro, what are you? Like what the fuck? Like, why are you thinking about that? Or why are you like, come on, man, come on. Like, what are you, a dreamer? It's like the people around you will shoot you down. Unless you have the right group to be around, and I have a group of over 2,000 people I can introduce you to if you want to be around people who actually can support you in this. But you'll have people like shoot you down. You might even bring this up to family members. Maybe you have a sibling or your parents or your significant other. You're like, hey, I've been really thinking about this. Like, this is kind of weird. And you like bring it up to them and it kind of falls on deaf ears. And maybe they even backlash. They're like, whoa, like, don't talk to me about that. What is that? It's the prison wardens all around you, holding you in place in your little spot in the world. It's like, imagine we're on this multi-dimensional jigsaw puzzle that is the world and the world system. And you have your little spot, your little location point in the whole thing. And when you start to try and like get out of that, the people around you have a alert button that goes off in their head. It's like, threat detected. A lot of it's subconscious. But they will see you starting to break out and they will automatically start to pull you back in because they have their own identity that's automated. They have their own programming and their vocabulary, and literally their entire worldview is set in a specific way, like they are a pre-programmed robot. And when you start to threaten that structure, they get uncomfortable. And so they will have resistance. And so automatically they will try and talk you back into who they are because they see you, well, they see a part of themselves in you, and they see you as representing a part of themselves that they don't necessarily want to look at, they don't know how to look at, and so it just tends to be a reactive reflex that happens. If you're actually pushing for something real, like classic example, okay? You have the COVID thing that happened. There's a buddy of mine who I met not too long ago, but he was telling me how he specifically was not going to take the jab. And he was in Canada. And like everyone in his university did it. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. I don't trust it. I don't want to do it. And he stood up and he got serious backlash for it. Now, I'm not going to go in depth into that specific topic. We have a whole podcast and all sorts of stuff that can challenge that. But that's an example of someone who got the backlash of realizing, oh, wow, I'm not just in my own mental prison, but I'm in this collective prison right now. And I'm trying to break out and find the others who like want to break out and actually be liberated. And they're not seeing it. And that can start to drive you crazy. And if you're not careful, you start to blame them. But it becomes a really insidious, nasty thing when you start blaming other people because it's another form of victimhood. And then you ended up back in your mental prison. So, oh, if they were just less dumb, or they just saw this documentary that proves that it was a plandemic instead of a pandemic, like then they would understand. It's like, no, it's not that simple. It's not that simple because you don't understand the process of change. First, you got to walk the change for yourself, and then you can support other people to do it too. And you can walk at the same time, but you got to actually take it on fully for yourself and not let yourself go into that little bitch victim mindset of being like, oh, if only they understood, then it'd be better. It's like, maybe your purpose is to help them understand. And there will be some people who do not want to understand. Okay, cool. But I guarantee you, there's at least 10 or 20% of the people you know that do want to understand. They can be influenced. And maybe that's your actual purpose here on earth. Do you ever think about it like that? Maybe that's your actual purpose, is for you to help the other people wake up and to do it systematically and sustainably. And you can be part of a whole movement of thousands of people and eventually millions of people who are all actually waking up, not just through meditating and feeling good and thinking because you had an experience of love that's waking you up and liberating you. Because I'll tell you, this is what happened to me in my journey of waking up. I remember one of the most impactful events I went to was a Tony Robbins seminar, but it wasn't impactful in the way you're probably thinking. Okay. So this was back in 2017. I was living out in New Jersey, and Tony Robbins was coming to town. And I had listened to a couple of his things. I maybe read one of his books, and And my friends were pumped. They're like, dude, we got to see Tony. He's awesome. You're going to walk on fire. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I want to walk on fire. They're like, no, trust me. You want to do it. Come on, let's go. So anyway, we go. We get tickets. And straight up that night, I think it was night one. Yeah, he like puts everyone in a trance for like 4 fucking hours. You're like conditioning yourself. You're in this like peak state. We're literally in the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, which is where the New Jersey Devils hockey team plays. Like, it's a big ass stadium and it's like full, well, 3/4 full. And you're in a trance, and then you're going down, and then you go into the parking lot, and there's fucking fire for like 30 feet. There's like coals on the ground, and there's like drumming, and I'm like in a fucking trance. I'm just like, okay. And you're supposed to say like cool moss to like trick your brain into not having your feet burn. And his whole point is he wants to show you the power of your subconscious mind. That way you can like have so much command over your body that you can essentially be shooting out energy from your feet instead of taking the heat in. You're like, you're at cause. And you walk over the fire, and like, it seems like 99.9% of people don't get burned. And I remember doing it, and I was like, whoa, I did it. Like, this is, wow, whoa, I fucking walked up fire. I was like pumped. And then the next day is another event. And then the next day is another part of the event. And I'm like, whoa, I unleash the power within. Fuck yeah. Oh my, I unleashed the power within. Like Tony promised. I did it. And then Monday rolls around. Monday morning, I'm like depressed. I got to go back to a job. Well, not a job, but a consulting gig I had that I wasn't really that excited about. I wasn't really happy how much I was getting paid. I was living kind of in not the best spot. Half the city smelled like garbage. I was just like, oh man. I just remember looking at my bank account. I was looking at my relationship, and I was like, dude, I feel dead. Like, I feel like a fucking corpse walking around. You ever see, this is the image that just got conjured up in my mind. You ever see SpongeBob? I'm going to date myself here. That SpongeBob episode where it's like that lady, he's like selling chocolate door to door. And there's that like crippled old fish lady. I don't know if you've seen this. Maybe I could put the image in there. That's how I felt on the inside. I felt dead. And it was worse because I had just had such a high. I was like crying at Tony Robbins, like, oh my God, I finally fucking broke through. I'm like crying in my face. I'm like, I did it. I'm finally not going to have to be depressed anymore. Yeah. And then 2 days later, I'm fucking depressed. I'm like, dude, no. Even the Tony Robbins thing didn't work. Maybe my brain is broken. Like, I was like seriously on the edge at this point. I was like, no. And I had like a cool opportunity too. I was like doing a consulting project, and like I was meeting cool people. I was like doing the thing. I mean, I'd go into New York City like multiple times a week. I'm like getting invited to these cool places. My friends like living in this nice like penthouse thing. I'm like, dude, I'm like living the dream. You would think I'm like living the dream. And I like felt dead. I'm like, dude, this is insane. I need to understand this. And in that pain, I made a decision. That I'm going to fucking figure this out once and for all. I'm going to figure out, why am I still so screwed internally? And why is the world so screwed externally? Because clearly me unleashing the power within and doing this mind-boggling thing, which is literally walking on fire. Like, that was paradigm shifting. Then I'm like, dude, I did that. Whoa. But do I have time to get into a peak state every morning? Do I have time to meditate? I tried. I went all out, dude. Like, I went all out. I would like listen to the meditation with the binaural beats when I'm journaling. And then I would like, on my way walking to my work, I would like be listening to like these audios, like Your Wish Is Your Command. And I'm like studying The Secret, and I'm like watching The Secret over and over. And I'm like really freaking trying to liberate myself. And I still felt dead inside. I'm like, this is so insane. So I was like searching, okay? Have you ever felt like this? Where you have had a peak experience? Like it got you there. Like you're like, whoa, like this is cool. This is what life's about. Maybe it's like a birthday. Maybe it's your wedding. Maybe it's the birth of a child. Like those kind of peak experiences. Some of you are like, oh, I took mushrooms one time. And like, yeah, it was awesome. Okay, guess what? Did the mushrooms wear off? Did you still feel like that? No. So that's the issue here. Here's the mental prison. Here's the gem. The mental prison is the fact that you're living life based off of not understanding how things work. And also you are addicted to that experience of the high. But you don't realize when you're creating the high, inherently there's going to be a low in it. Now, I'm not saying you got to just be like chill all the time or just like stable and like a robot. No, it's not that either. That's a prison in itself. It's that you got to realize how the operating system of a human being works. Like when you were born, they did not hand your parent an instruction manual on how life works. As you grew up, you were not given an instruction manual. Some people will say, no, that's what the Bible's for. That's what the Quran is for. That's what whatever. Insert religious text here. Okay, if that was the case, why is there so much suffering and struggle still? And why does everyone not agree on that? Of, which one's the truth? And how do you interpret this Bible verse, whatever? It's like, just put all your religious programming on hold for a moment and just hear me out. The mental prison is the fact that you don't know how to actually rebuild the building blocks of your mind, of your programming. And you are running right now like 80,000 programs in your mind right now. They are running in the background. It's kind of like on your phone, if you're watching this or you're watching this on your computer, how in the background you probably have like 20 tabs open and you have like all these different apps open too. That's all running in the background and it is sucking away your power. Like a fucking alien movie where there's an alien on the back of you sucking all of this out of you. So you don't actually have the power, and that's the mental prison. Here's the thing. You actually created it, not intentionally, but you went through a system that was designed systematically to program you with a limited understanding of reality. You have been limited by your language, by your understanding of the world and how it works. Now, here's the best part of all this. You can change it 100%. You can go back through every last little program and you can begin to liberate yourself and free yourself. Here's the part that will probably make you want to click off the video, but I'm going to say it anyway because I want to give you fair warning. It's going to take you at least 7 years. It's going to take you at least 7 years. Now, you can massively change in 7 days, even 7 hours when you start doing this. Because even a little bit goes a long way. You like free up some more energy. Then now you can use that energy to create. But now this time, when you do it right, you don't have to rebuild a brand new prison. It's like you go from one prison and like without actually changing the programming, you might feel like you escaped the prison, but then you just like walk out of that prison, like right into the next prison cell. And then you're like, oh shit, I'm in a prison again. Then you're like, there we go. Another meditation retreat. Vipassana, 10-day silent retreat. That's going to liberate me. Great. And then you walk right into that and you're like meditating in a prison cell. That's what's fucking happening. And so you can take these building blocks though, which is called your programming. And you can go back through every single program you ever learned. There's a way to do this. I will show you how to do it. Just message me. I can give you a demonstration of exactly how this works. And here's what starts to happen. You start to go through and you start to realize you learned the English language or whatever language you were born into in your first 7 years. And in your first 7 years, there's a big difference between now you as an adult. As a child, your body is in a state called your natural learning ability. It's like your insides, your brain, your cellular structure, all of that is like, you ever make Jell-O? Okay. Jell-O, the classic thing, right? At least every American, I'm sure, has had it. You know how it starts? It's actually the powder in hot water. It's in a liquid form. It's not crystallized right away. But over time, that Jell-O sets and it becomes crystallized. This is what happens from when you're in the womb, well, really from the moment of conception, up to about age 7. There's a crystallization process that happens, and that's when you learn the English language. That's when you learn about the world. That's when you learn about time and the future and the past. And, we have a concept of days of the week and all, like, even the basic words, like all the words I use in this video, like you got to purify your vocabulary. You got to restructure it. You got to redefine all these words. And it's not from just reading the dictionary, my friend. I'm sorry. That's not going to change you at that structural, crystallized level within you. This information that you're using to even hear this video, all that information is actually held in your body like a hard drive. But the vast majority of it was put in there before you were even aware of what was going on, before you were 7. Now you're walking around and that is your basis. So you try and change, you go to the Tony Robbins thing, you try and do your silent retreat and your meditations and all that, but you're not changing the actual information that's in your body and in the hardware. Here's the thing. You can actually reprogram that. There's a really, really cool tool that I've used that allows you to, on a subliminal level, actually get back in, figure out what's in there that's actually helping you and what's in there that's not helping you, purify and remove the stuff that's not helping you, take the stuff that is already helping you and make it 20 times better. And can you see how if you would do that over weeks and months and years and actually stay consistent with it, and you're around other people who are doing the same thing, can you see how you would actually fundamentally change your life? Okay? So then you do that. But here's the other part. Here's the biggest part. I don't see any of these fucking gurus talking about. Because there's people who are aware, first 7 years matters. Yeah, they don't know how to change it though. But the other part is, people will be aware that it makes sense. Oh yeah, I should liberate myself. Yeah, I am kind of in this mental hell right now. I would rather be in a heaven, like mental heaven, that kind of thing. Here's the other part, okay? Again, you will probably feel resistance to this and you'll probably want to click out this video, but I'm just going to tell you like it is because I have to. If you start to free yourself in your own mind and your own, like your awareness actually starts to come through, who you are starts to really come through. You're less rigid, you're less tight, you're less overthinking things and talking to yourself. I call it backchat. You're not backchatting yourself all day of like these conversations and shit. As you start to change that for real, you start to change yourself on that cellular level, that structural level in your body and in your brain. As that starts to change, you'll have opportunities open up where you can also help the people around you and help the society and the culture around you to do that too. And this is the part where as you can free yourself, you have the opportunity to help others do the same. Because if you don't, you start to realize, wow, what good is it if I'm like pretty chill and happy all the time, but if everyone around me is struggling? Like, I want to help those other people too. And then you start to realize, again, there's no other solutions out there that actually can do it in the same way. Like, I literally went from being so stuck in my head to, as I started to really do this process, there's a journaling process, and then there's a tool that you can use to change yourself at that level. And when you start to do that, things start to change. First, for me, it was a lot of like release of pent up emotions and traumas and misunderstandings, so much stuff. And I started to have cognitions all the time. You ever have an aha moment, like a light bulb goes off in your head? You're like, oh, whoa, never realized that. Okay, I started having insights that were chain reaction insight. It'd be like something would click. And then that would lead to another thing clicking and another thing clicking and another thing clicking for like, sometimes like 6 or 7 at a time. I'm like, holy shit, I'm understanding that. And then like I had a friend start to explain to me how the economy works. And I never understood this. I like studied psychology. I did not really feel confident with numbers. And he started to explain how the money system works and how the Federal Reserve works and how the Federal Reserve can print money and then loan it out. I was like, holy shit, I'm understanding this. Whoa, we are in a slavery-based system. And I know, for all you politically correct people, yes, I realize it's different than if you're held a slave versus you have enslaved yourself to money and to your mind. But nonetheless, it is still a form of inequality where you're looking to something outside yourself, or something outside yourself is controlling you. Here's the point I want to get through is, first, if you can comprehend the fact that, oh yeah, you have a mental prison within you that you've created. Okay, cool. And you want to change that. That's phase 1. And we should talk about that. You should hit me up and let's have coffee over Zoom and talk to each other. You drink matcha or water, whatever you drink. You drink raw milk, okay? I'll drink some raw milk with my espresso shot. And we'll talk on Zoom. And I can help pull out of you what actually is the prison. What are like the four corners of the prison here that have got you stuck? And like the bars in between, like all of that that's holding you in place. Let's first get awareness of it, and then I can show you how to deprogram it and reprogram it really quickly to start so you get momentum. Yes, I said it's going to take 7 years, and yes, it is. It is going to be a journey. But you're going to live for 7 more years anyway. Why not actually make it be the greatest it can be? But then the other part is you taking that initiative to say, I want to make sure my kids don't end up in that same mental prison. Because if you're in the mental prison and you have kids, what are the odds they're going to basically copy what happened to you and your wife, or, whatever your setup is? Odds are the same thing's going to happen. But now it's actually even worse because you have these fucking AIs everywhere now, and kids have smartphones and iPads. And so it actually gets even faster. You fill up that, like, let's say you're a sponge when you're a kid, that sponge is getting filled up even faster. It's crazy. It's insane nowadays how quickly it gets filled up. With 98% of it is garbage. And so you're going to recreate that, especially for your kids. And to me, that is unacceptable. That's literally why I'm making this video, is because there are innocent kids right now that are walking into the system that they're not even able to block it out. And then they end up creating this mental prison. Here's the thing. There's a key to get you out of the prison. And then you can also, here's what's cool. You're like the key maker, like the key smith. Whatever you would call that person, a locksmith, who can literally now make keys that can help other people. They call something a skeleton key, that it works on any door. This works on any door, provided you have eyeballs and you can see, because there's a very specific process you do that involves being able to see, okay? If you can't see, you can still hit me up. We'll figure out a way through, okay? But now you have the skeleton key and you can now help other people. Because if you just unlock it for them, it doesn't work like that. They have to develop the strength and how to reach and unlock it, and then they'll go into another prison, but it'll be a little bit less imprisoning. And then another one, and another one, and at a certain point, you stop recreating the prison. And then you can see it coming from a mile away, and you're like, whoa, if I do that, like your buddy will hit you up on a Friday night, and they're like, yeah, let's go out drinking. You're like, yeah, that might be fun. It's like, no, you can see it from a mile away and go, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go do this instead. That is real liberation. And don't you want to live in a world where we can actually figure out what it's like to not be in the mental prison? And we can actually be liberated and be free? Don't you want that? I want that. If I'm going to be on this planet for however long I'm going to be on here, I want to liberate as many people as possible. And I know you will fight that. I know you have subconscious programming that says, no, that's not possible. Or no, it's going to be like Jesus and he got killed for that. Or like Martin Luther King, or like, it's like, yeah, but what if we had 1 million people that were thinking like this and operating like this? Grassroots, change the world, change the system. You want to be part of that? You want to sit in your little armchair and play your video games and watch your porn, eat your whatever the fuck you eat, Doritos, Takis. I never had Takis, but I know those are popular. And you just enslave yourself. Or you're the other extreme and you've enslaved yourself to your nice cushy paycheck and you're making $200,000 a year and you got your benefits and you get to go on the trip with the boys once a year and you get to go drink, and on the weekend, it's pretty fun, but deep down you feel fucking depressed and you don't like it. Deep down. It's called self-honesty. Whatever extreme of the prison you're in, like you're in a prison and you're like, yeah, this is sick. I can have like golden prison bars. Yeah. And I got like a high def TV. I even got an Xbox in my prison. I got Xbox Live in my prison. I don't even know if Xbox Live's still a thing. You're like, dude, I got Fortnite on here, or Minecraft. But you're still in a fucking prison and everyone around you is also in a prison. And this little bubble that we're in, like I'm in America. Most people listening to this are probably in America, or at least some first world country. The little bubble that we're in too, we're like, no, dude, I'm good in my prison. I got my video games. I got my Netflix and chill. I can like get my Tinder date to come over to my prison cell and it's like good enough. We're fine. But yeah, occasionally you'll scroll on, social media and then you'll see like the fact that, I don't know, kids are getting blown up right now in war zones all around the world. You're like, oh, that's so horrible. Yeah. Or you like see some like extreme, crazy outflow of like police brutality happening. Oh, that's so upsetting. Oh, I just hate how the cops are racist. And it's just like a problem, man. Yeah. It's like systemic inequality. Yeah. I don't like that. I'm going to like the video to show that I care. but you're not doing anything about it. And maybe you actually really genuinely want to do something about it. And I respect that and I love that. You found this video for a reason then. Text me. Hit me on Facebook or Instagram. Let's talk it through because it's possible. I'm telling you, it's fucking possible. I promise you, it's possible. And then the best part is you can then be that free person. And your spouse can also be that free person. They may not get it as fast as you. It depends. Every relationship's going to be unique. But then you can help them get freed up. And then you can have kids, or maybe you already have kids. You can help them get freed up. And then you can have friends in your neighborhood and locally that can also get freed up. And then more friends. And then they can tell their friends. And then it has this chain reaction, this ripple effect, grassroots, where more people wake up. Don't you want that? And then over time, like over 10, 20, 30 years, we can get really smart because we can program ourselves to learn anything. And we could like actually get in there and change policy. And we could take the independent party or some new political party. And we can actually get in there and change politics. And we could have like social media be something that's inspiring. And we could, I don't know, maybe reevaluate how we look at money and maybe stop valuing money over human life. Maybe everyone could understand something called systems thinking, and you realize the elite have understood this for thousands and thousands of years, and this is how they control society. Maybe more people could realize that, and we could stop, wasting our fucking lives away and letting BlackRock buy up everything. And then we just go, yeah, well, hopefully Jesus comes back or something, or like, I don't know, the pastor said I'll be okay, or like, hopefully when I die, I go to heaven. It's like, why not create heaven on earth here? But we have to engineer it. And some of you don't want to get into politics. That's fine. You don't have to get into politics, but at least vote for people who are thinking like this and agree to the same set of principles. And you can at least like not talk shit about us and you could be net positive towards it. Or you be a prison fucking warden and you keep everyone else enslaved. And then you get to the end of your life and you realize, damn, well, I messed up. I missed the whole point. I just cared about money and feeling good. And that's it. And guess what? When you start to learn how to actually change yourself and you can program yourself, you can also learn how to program yourself to be good at making money and keeping money and sustaining money and growing the money. So then you have financial freedom too. So all the stuff you actually want, which is like a great relationship and great money. And when you look in your bank account, you're not anxious and like you can actually go on vacation and have fun and have friends that inspire you. All the things you actually want. This is the way through. So I've made my point. All right. Hit me up and feel free to share this with someone too. Or share it with 20 people. Or put on a fucking ad in the Times Square in New York. But the average person is not going to understand that. It's a person who's looking to change, and you're honest about the fact that you don't know how to get out of the mental prison. And maybe you get out of one, but then you walk right into another. Then you walk right into another. And it's like you're draining yourself. And it's like each time is a little bit more defeating. Unless you can actually just do the right process that works. It's a proven process. I have friends who've been doing this for like 14 years, some even longer. It works, and it works every time if you just stick with it. Don't you want that as the way to get through? Because then it's repeatable, and then we can actually share this with way more people who need it. We can actually change the culture, and we can change the world. So let's do that.